Content marketing is a new way of delivering advertising. We all know what content is in our everyday lives. It's what we watch on TV, it's movies, it's books, it's events we may attend. It's the stuff that we like doing. Now imagine if you could create advertising that people wanted to spend time with instead of the traditional form of advertising which people are actively trying to avoid. From a brand's point of view, that means it's everything the brand makes, from video to blogs to Facebook to YouTube channels to their own website to their CRM communications. Using and harnessing everything that a brand does and thinking about how you can make your audience spend more time with your content is essentially what content marketing is all about. But of all the types of content that a brand makes, the most powerful has got to be video content. It's still the most powerful way of influencing people, of moving them emotionally and getting them to think about your products and services in new ways. And of course it's digital, which means they're only one click away from purchase. Content marketing makes budgets go further for two reasons. First of all, it reduces quite dramatically the cost of media investment that you have to put behind that campaign. Secondly, it reduces the amount of wastage. You're able to target your audience much more effectively online with that content. And thirdly, it reduces the cost of production. Similarly, it's going to increase the effectiveness that you're going to see and results you're going to achieve from a campaign of this type. It's going to increase the amount of time you spend with your customer. It's going to increase the engagement that you're going to achieve with that potential customer and that audience. It's going to increase the number of assets that you can make and the longevity of any campaign. So all in all, content marketing adds up to an incredibly good value for money. It's as effective as traditional advertising and makes budgets go a lot further. Good content marketing does two things. First of all, anything a brand creates needs to stand on its own 2 feet as entertainment. People have got to want to spend time with it. They've got to want to watch it, read it, share it, or attend it, whatever it might be. At the same time, content marketing needs to be accountable as advertising. That's what it is. It's an investment by a brand to achieve certain marketing objectives. And when I say accountable, I mean it needs to be held up to the same scrutiny as any other marketing activity. It needs to deliver a good awareness, good reach, and good results, and a strong ROI. So any brand thinking about commissioning content marketing needs to bear in mind 3 things. First of all, before you start making anything, you have to understand how are you going to reach an audience? What is your distribution strategy? And putting time into thinking about where, how, and when an audience will see your content and spend time with that content is absolutely the first step to doing that. Secondly, if you're making content by its very definition that people want to spend time with, you've got to know what people are interested in. So having some clear insight into your audience, what they want to know, what they want to value, and what they want to spend time with is absolutely critical. The second thing is, if you're making content for people that people want to watch, you've got to have a very clear understanding of what people are interested in and what they will spend time with. So understanding your audience is absolutely critical and having a clear insight into what's going to work for those people. Thirdly, it's important that any brand has the right partner and the right people around them to help make effective content marketing. Anyone these days can make content, pick up a smartphone, write a blog, pick up a video camera. But there's a skill and an art to making effective brand content that works in the digital space and reaches audiences at scale. And that's why I think it's important that any brand considering getting into content marketing finds a specialist who understands what they're doing, who can deliver great results for that brand first time. So the first thing you've got to do is you've got to create an audience for your brand content. You've got to understand where that audience is, what they're likely to consume, and in what format. And there are really 4 ways to understand how to put together a comprehensive distribution strategy. Any brand should start by thinking about the audience that they already own. What I mean by an owned audience is people that are already their customers, or maybe on their database, maybe visitors to their website, it may be people that they know how to get in touch with. That is a very valuable audience for creating additional sales and additional contacts. So the owned audience is where we always start. Secondly, it's about understanding how you can reach an audience through paid media in a digital landscape. There are many ways that you can seed your content and give it the oxygen it needs to reach the audience that you're targeting in an effective way. So putting some money behind your content to start with is going to be very important. The third way is about collaborations and partnerships. There are many existing audiences that you want to tap into. People, maybe ambassadors, maybe talent, they might be media brands who've already got an existing audience. You should be thinking about, how do I tap into that audience? How do I create something in combination with that partner that allows me to get in touch with their audience for my own ends? And finally, great content marketing can create its own audience as well. We call this an earned media. People sharing your content amongst their friends, amongst their colleagues, amongst their communities, and generating essentially free reach and free awareness for you off the back of it. So in combination of those four ways is how we think you put together a smart distribution strategy to create an audience for content. And it's absolutely vital. That's the first thing we do long before you put pen to paper or press play on a video camera. I think content is particularly applicable to British brands and British companies when thinking about overseas markets. I think there's a particular cachet about Britishness and British brands that is very resonant in overseas markets, particularly export markets. I think British brands have a reputation for quality, they have a reputation for heritage, and they have some very interesting stories to tell. And in my experience, brands operating overseas and British companies operating overseas, their audiences are very willing to spend time researching those brands, researching those companies online. And there's a real thirst and a hunger to find out more. That's why I think British brands are particularly well suited to get involved in content marketing. It offers them an affordable and effective way of reaching audiences overseas. They have some fantastic stories to tell, and I know they've got a willing audience that's hungry and receptive to hear more from them in the digital space.